In the heart of Accra, where the streets pulsed with life and energy, lived Adoma. She was a vision of beauty that defied her circumstances. Flawless ebony skin, high cheekbones, and eyes that glistened like stars. But her stunning looks did little to shield her from poverty. She lived in a cramped, one-room shack with a leaky roof, working tirelessly at odd jobs just to survive. Despite her struggles, Adoma held on to hope. She believed her beauty could be her salvation, though she didn't yet know how. That changed one fateful evening when her friend Efua arrived at her door. "Adoma," Efua said, placing a hand on her hip. "Why are you still living like this? You're wasting what God gave you." "What choice do I have?" Adoma replied, her voice laced with frustration. "Beauty doesn't pay the bills." Efua smirked. "Oh, but it can. Come to a party with me tomorrow. Let me show you how." "I don't belong at places like that," Adoma muttered. Efua held up a sleek red dress. "Wear this. Trust me. After tomorrow, you'll never look back." The party was unlike anything Adoma had ever experienced. The mansion was filled with wealthy men and women, their laughter mingling with the clinking of crystal glasses. Adoma, dressed in Efua's borrowed gown, felt like a princess. Heads turned as she entered the room. "Who is she?" whispered one man. "She looks like royalty," another replied. By the end of the night, Mr. Boateng, an older, wealthy man, had promised to pay her rent for the next 6 months. As she left the party, clutching an envelope of cash, Adoma realized something profound. Her beauty was a currency, and she was ready to spend it. Over the weeks, Adoma became a magnet for wealthy admirers. They bought her designer clothes, jewelry, and even a modern apartment. Her life transformed almost overnight. But as she grew accustomed to luxury, she became insatiable. She wanted more. Adoma's ambition reached new heights when she met Zidane at a networking event. Zidane was everything she dreamed of: young, successful, and devastatingly handsome. She positioned herself strategically, ensuring their paths crossed. "Hi, I'm Adoma," she said, her voice smooth and inviting. Zidane smiled, intrigued. "You have an unforgettable presence," he replied. "Are you in business?" "Not yet," Adoma said, flashing a coy smile, "but I'd love to learn from someone like you." Their connection was instant, and Zidane began courting her. He showered her with gifts, luxury trips, fine jewelry, and even a brand new car. Adoma knew she had hit the jackpot. One evening, over a candlelit dinner, Zidane revealed something personal. "I have a daughter," he said. "She's 8. Her mother passed away, and she's my world." Adoma feigned interest, masking her indifference. To her, Zidane's wealth mattered more than his family. Zidane's best friend, Malik, wasn't convinced by Adoma's charm. One evening, he pulled Zidane aside. "Are you sure about this girl?" Malik asked. "I've heard she's seeing other men." Zidane confronted Adoma that night. "Are you using me?" he asked, his tone cold. Adoma laughed dismissively. "Why would you even think that? Don't you trust me?" Zidane's expression darkened. "This is your last chance, Adoma. If you're playing games, it will catch up to you." Adoma smirked. "I've already gotten what I need from you, Zidane. Don't be so dramatic." Adoma ignored his warning. But the very next morning, she woke to find clumps of her hair on her pillow. Her once thick, lustrous hair was now patchy and brittle. She bought an expensive wig, but her confidence wavered. A week later, dark blotches spread across her skin. No amount of makeup could conceal them. Men began avoiding her, their interest waning. Then came her voice. One morning, she woke up to find she could barely speak. Her once smooth, melodic voice had turned into a hoarse croak. The very voice that had charmed so many now betrayed her. Her tragedies mounted. One night, she tripped on uneven pavement and fell face first, breaking her front teeth. Her perfect smile, which had been her greatest weapon, was gone. But the worst was yet to come. Fraud investigations froze her bank accounts, leaving her penniless. Shortly after, her apartment caught fire, destroying everything she owned. With no money and nowhere to go, Adoma turned to a homeless shelter. The shelter was a far cry from the life Adoma had grown accustomed to. The air reeked of sweat and mildew, the floors were sticky, and the beds were little more than sagging cots with stained mattresses. The constant noise of crying babies and shouting residents made it impossible to rest. The food was meager, watery porridge in the mornings and bland soup in the evenings. Adoma often went to bed hungry, her stomach growling as she lay awake on her uncomfortable cot. It was here, amidst the filth and despair, that Adoma truly hit rock bottom. One night, as she drifted into a restless sleep, she had a vivid dream. In the dream, Adoma stood in a grand ballroom, surrounded by faceless men who showered her with gifts. She accepted them greedily, laughing as she danced from one admirer to the next. But as the night wore on, the room began to crumble. The men disappeared, their faces melting into shadows. The gifts turned to ash in her hands, and the floor beneath her gave way. Adoma fell into darkness. She landed in a barren wasteland, her once beautiful face distorted in a cracked mirror. Then, out of the shadows, Zidane appeared. "Adoma," he said, his voice echoing, "this is what becomes of those who take without giving. You can still change, but the choice is yours." She woke with a start, her heart pounding. The dream lingered in her mind, and for the first time, she saw the truth of her actions. The next morning, Adoma found the strength to act. She walked to Zidane's office, her heart heavy with shame. Rain drenched her as she stood outside, waiting for him to notice her. When Zidane finally appeared, his expression was a mix of surprise and pity. "Adoma," he said, "what happened to you?" She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Zidane, I was wrong. I used you. I used everyone. I've lost everything because of my greed. Please, I'm begging you, help me make things right." Zidane looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "Adoma, forgiveness isn't about words, it's about action. If you're ready to change, I'll help you, but this is your last chance." Adoma nodded, her voice trembling. "I'll do whatever it takes." Zidane gave her a modest job at his company and helped her find a small, clean apartment. Though her beauty never returned, Adoma began to rebuild her life. She worked hard, earning the respect of her colleagues and the satisfaction of living honestly. In time, Adoma learned to value the simple joys of life: a warm meal, a safe home, and the peace of integrity. Though she had lost her outward beauty, she discovered something far more precious: inner strength and redemption. For the first time, she felt truly rich. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comment section below. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.